I'd like to call the May 8th, 2024 meeting of the Ogden Town Board to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd ask you to remain standing for a moment of silent reflection and prayer for servicemen, military servicemen and women serving around the world, as well as for our first responders. Thank you. Well, thank you all for attending tonight. We've got a good number of items to review and go over, and we want to start tonight with a proclamation. So I'd like to invite the board down to the podium here, as well as members of the Town of Ogden Building Department. Okay, I'll actually read this. Sometimes I don't read the whereases, I just talk, so I'll read it. Whereas the Town of Ogden Building Department is committed to recognizing that our growth and strength depends on the safety and essential role of our homes, buildings, and infrastructure, both in everyday life and when disasters strike. Our confidence in the resilience of these buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion and vigilance vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safe construction of buildings. Whereas these guardians are dedicated members of the International Code Council, and nonprofit that brings together experts in the building environment to create and implement the highest quality codes to protect us in the buildings where we live, learn, work, and play. These modern building codes include safeguards to protect the public from hazards such as hurricanes, snowstorms, tornadoes, wildlife fires, floods, and earthquakes. Whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our communities, largely unknown protectors of public safety, our local code officials, who assure us of a safe, sustainable, and affordable buildings. Mission Possible, the theme for Building Safety Month 2024, encourages us all to raise awareness about building safety on a personal, local, and global scale. Whereas each year, in observance of Building Safety Month, people all over the world are asked to consider the commitment to improve building safety, resilience, and economic investment at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential services provided to all of us by local and state building departments, fire prevention bureaus, and federal agents in protecting lives and property. Now, therefore, we, the Town Board of the Town of Ogden, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 as Building Safety Month and recognize the Ogden Building Department for their unwavering commitment to building safety. Congratulations. Congratulations. Before I turn it over, one of the things that is important to me as the supervisor and as basically proxy on a daily basis of the board as well, there are certain maintenance things that we take care of. There's, people come in for permits, people want, a deck, a pool, a shed, and those are just part of the daily routine. But to actually adopt and adapt to a code that the current town and previous towns have established, and basically being forced to implement that, and then on a daily basis read certain things and say, why the heck do we do that? And then be able to bring it to us to make changes. All that to say, these guys deal with a lot, a tremendous amount. And people don't love being told that they can't do things. So they're also in the line of fire in many ways. But to take the vision that the board has set, that I have set, and to be able to start to literally mold and shape the town for the future is no small feat. And it certainly wasn't anything that was considered lightly when, we asked these individuals to be here. So the reason we're so busy is because they're doing a tremendous job. And this is the opportunity to congratulate them and thank them for what they're doing and really just show recognition and appreciation. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
And the floor is yours.
Well, we appreciate all the support that we get from the town board, town attorney, as well as the highway superintendent. Hiding over there. And Mike Sal, obviously on a daily basis, jumps into the trenches with us when we have issues and helps us work through some of our more difficult problems. So the support from you guys makes our job actually doable. Without it, we really struggle. And thank you to my team as well. Couldn't do it without them. And Jamie's not here, but appreciate her as well. So thank you.
Very good. Congratulations again.
You too. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Brian.
Thanks, Steve.
Want a photo quick, if you don't mind?
Dan and Dan, you guys work with the building department all the time. Come on in.
Come on up, Dan. Hey, Dan.
I mean, stand in the back, but you're welcome.
Right, stand.
Don't let me
Back.
block you, Josh.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, looks good. Thank you.
Chief Tillman.
You got the photographer from Sears.
If I did that there, she'd kill me.
Thank you, Christian. All right, approval of the minutes resolution 151.
No.
Oh, just kidding. Of all the people to skip.
That's why we have an agenda.
Thank you. I know. I get ahead of myself. Want to thank the police chief for being here, giving us our quarter one update. Very good. Thank you, chief.
Yeah, thank you all. I don't know why it's been a month or so. I think it was just busy agendas. But thanks for the opportunity to speak. So I don't have a lot, so this will be quick. I know you guys have a full agenda, but I just wanted to give a quick update as to what was going on in the police department from January until the end of March. That traditionally is our slower part of the year, wintertime. So rolling into the new year, we drafted our 2024 goals and objectives, which I believe I spoke about when I was here to give the annual report back in January. But essentially this year, we are focusing on, again, continuing to expand our community engagement programs, increasing drug and alcohol awareness and enforcement by minors. It's a relevant issue we're dealing with. Promoting officer wellness and professional development, and also just increasing overall patrol readiness. Updating some of the equipment that our officers need, some of the equipment in the facility itself, just to allow us to better do our jobs. January, the patrol officer shift assignments changed per the annual bidding process. That happens every January. We finally received 2 new Ford Interceptors. One had been on order since 2022, and one was ordered in 2023. Our new animal control officer, Ariel Ambrose, launched that Pet of the Month program. Everybody's probably seen on social media. She's gotten a lot of good feedback and traction with that. The people in the community really enjoy that, so kudos to her. That was all her idea, and it's all her management there, so it's a great PR thing. In February, Officer Lindauer began teaching DARE again. The school has asked to transition to teaching that curriculum in the spring semester. So he teaches 4 days a week at the 4 different elementary schools. So he actually has a pretty full agenda. Every week when he comes in, he's doing a great job. And we were just talking today, he's already in week 7, and they wrap up at week 10. It's hard to believe, knocking on June's door. So he's doing a great job again. This is his second year with us. And I give Jeremy a lot of credit too, because he does a lot of extracurriculars, no pun intended, outside of DARE. We just had a meeting here last week with the different religious leaders in the community, and he's doing a lot to reach out in the community itself on behalf of the department. Back in February, we participated in the polar plunge along with Sue from the building department. Perhaps next year we'll have more people show up. No pressure. We did have a couple of big investigations going on. also hard to believe that they're almost done with that. We had an officer that received the life-saving award in March. Officer Dent is probably one of the most humble people I know, and he utilized the department AED to save a resident's life. He got called for her being unresponsive, not breathing, arrived on scene, administered an AED shock, and brought her back to life. So he requested no fanfare. He actually wouldn't even let us take his photo. He's just one of those guys who just likes to do his job and, keep doing it. So high quality work out of him. Because it is our slow time of year, we tend to do a lot of training in the winter. We had an officer that attended instructor development course, so that means he can go on to teach other police officers here or at the academy. We had an officer become an evidence technician. That's a specialty that not a lot of departments our size have, so that gives us the ability to process our own crime scenes. Officer Carlos Ortiz-Speed, who was here last meeting, I believe, was hired to fill the vacancy that the board created for this year, so thank you again. The word I'm getting is he's doing phenomenal on his field training. He's about a quarter of the way through that. Unfortunately, we attended several law enforcement funerals, and on the heels of that, several of the officers approached me and asked if we could change our patrol uniform hats back to something that we had previously. It's a Stetson-style hat that we had here until the mid-2000s. I believe it was Chief Schrank that switched to the style of hat that we have now. So we're kind of getting a throwback hat, basically. I should have brought one tonight. And then finally, after waiting, for a long process, the fence project started in March, and happy to report it's working beautifully. So thank you to every stakeholder involved. There are a lot of moving parts to that. Everybody's really enjoying that. Some things coming up. In May, we're going to partner with the school for their mock DWI assembly. That's something we do annually. It's a big hit at the school ahead of the prom season. May, in particular, is a very heavy training month for us. We have all the officers are attending their annual in-service training at the academy, so they're learning about emergency vehicle operation this year and some legal updates. And we also have our semi-annual firearms qualification is coming up, so it's a heavy training month for us after the weather gets good. One of the services we offer to our retirees is to come back and qualify under what's called HR 218. It essentially allows retired police officers to qualify and then carry in a somewhat official capacity. We have several grants we're applying for. The Cops Hiring Grant. Walmart has offered to partner up with us in an upcoming bike rodeo. Looking to get some bike helmets to give away to the community for that event. Operation Stone Garden is another federal grant that we're looking at. And last but not least, we're getting ready for the carnival season. So that is really all I have. If anybody has any questions, fire away.
Total efficiency.
I'll add one thing that I'm sure the chief didn't want to bring up yet, but we have been meeting to address a desire that this board has, and clearly that the police department has, to try and really close the gap on any officer working alone. And Chief is getting really creative in how to make that happen, potentially, I'm saying that specifically that way, without having to add additional staff for that purpose. So that, just know that that's going on in the background. Might give it a trial run here at some point, and certainly will take the time to explain it. I will not, because it is very confusing, but it somehow works.
Yeah, well, and I would make that offer to anybody on the board, and I sat down with the supervisor last week to kind of just, you really have to take a deep dive into our scheduling to understand the complexities, and the union contract that we have to work with, and unfortunately just the small amount of officers we have, trying to stretch that out as far as we can. So I welcome anybody to come in and chat. I can explain it to you offline, because it takes a minute, unfortunately. So.
Or multiple explanations,
Yeah.
if you've never been in law enforcement.
Thank you, Chief. Nice
I
job.
will say, as a town attorney, that, in speaking with other town attorneys, that it's very pleasant to be able to say that I see very few, if any, false arrests, false imprisonment, abuse. Yeah, well, and it's just reflective of the fact that, at least our officers conduct themselves in a very professional way, which leads to fewer complaints of that nature. As compared to some of the other towns that I've talked to the attorneys about, they get one once a week or once a month, and it can be, a burden on everybody.
Yep. Very good.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, now I will ask for a motion to approve the minutes, Resolution 151.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Councilman Baker, second by Councilman Gerbino. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, we have privilege of the floor. This is a time where anybody in the audience, if you'd like to approach and have a conversation with the board on any topic, it is your ability to do so. Just come forward, state your name and address. Anybody that would like to address the board at this time. Sir? Good evening.
My name is Brian Brisky, and I've lived at 333 Washington Street for 26 years. I would like to address the board regarding the ongoing speeding and reckless driving that continues to worsen on Washington Street, specifically between Ogden-Parma Town Line Road and the Canal Bridge. I understand the problem may be and most likely is an issue in other sections of Washington Street and even throughout the town, but I can only speak for the portion of the road I live on. While this section of Washington Street has a posted speed limit of 35 miles per hour, the speeding problem has been worsening over the last 4 years since I last brought this topic before the town board. I regularly watch cars, trucks, and motorcycles pass my house at speeds in excess of 50 miles per hour. In 2021, the town placed a speed monitoring trailer in my location and recorded less than 20 of the percent passing vehicles driving under 40 miles per hour, and that was just in one direction. There were recorded speeds in excess of 75 miles per hour, and more than half of the recorded speeds of southbound traffic was faster than 45. The constant speeding, coupled with the frequent illegal passing that occurs, is a fatality waiting to happen. There was, in fact, a motorcycle fatality in 2019, however, that occurred over the town line in Parma. One cannot sit on my front porch for more than 30 or 40 minutes without seeing someone illegally pass another driver crossing a double yellow line. What prompts me to address the board this evening, however, is an incident that occurred just 2 days ago on Monday morning, May 6th. At approximately 10:30 a.m., a friend of mine who had come to visit me had slowed down to turn left into my driveway from the northbound lane with his left directional on. As he began to turn, a second northbound vehicle driving well in excess of the speed limit crossed the double yellow line and actually tried to pass him on the left as my friend turned into my driveway. The resulting collision did thousands of dollars in damage to each vehicle, with my friend's vehicle left undrivable with a broken tie rod end and severe damage to the left side of his truck. The vehicle that he tried to pass was left with extensive damage to the full length of his right of his car. His actual excuse at the time was he was sorry, he was in a hurry. My friend is from Warsaw, New York, and had to have his truck towed. The responding officer questioned both drivers regarding the circumstances, and when he repeatedly asked my friend if he had been using his directional, which the other driver claimed he never saw, the officer failed to acknowledge, no less write a traffic ticket for the other driver admitting to crossing the double yellow line. That may, however, be a decision left to the officer's discretion, so I'm not questioning it. More concerning was that the driver who crossed the double yellow line did so while speeding and less than 1,000 feet from a distinct blind turn in the road. Had a vehicle been traveling southbound at that time, the outcome could have been much worse. Even as the tow truck was loading my friend's truck, we all witnessed yet another speeder passing a car again, crossing the double yellow line. One morning in July last year, I looked both ways before pulling out of my driveway, especially looking left, as it's commonplace for vehicles to come around that curve heading south at oftentimes ridiculous rates of speed. When I pulled onto the road heading south, I was suddenly faced with a car coming at me in my lane as he was passing another vehicle heading north. They were both speeding, and I had no choice but to quickly turn into my own front lawn to avoid being hit. I am here this evening with a respectful request for something to be done before somebody dies. I understand the manpower shortage of the police department. I understand that the majority of revenues generated by speeding tickets go to the state, not to the town. But I also understand that there must be something that can be done, not to eliminate the problem of speeding and illegal passing on Washington Street, but rather reduce it. It is not at all uncommon anymore for me to pull out of my driveway southbound, only to have a driver who is speeding come up on me at an alarming rate of speed, sometimes passing me and sometimes tailgating me. I have on several occasions found myself in the position of, while retrieving my mail or morning paper, getting into verbal confrontations with drivers who I first signal with my hands to slow down. Most often they speed up, lay on the horn, or throw me the finger. I have had many a driver stop and come back when I return that same finger. I've even had pushing matches right at the end of my driveway with two drivers in recent years. Again, I don't have an answer as to how to resolve or truncate this problem, and I am respectfully looking to the board for some ideas or solutions. And I know that I'm not the only Washington Street resident who has grown both tired and weary of the blatant speed and traffic law violations that are getting worse, not better.
Wow, thank you, sir, for reading that eloquently. Is, Washington is a county road?
County road. We put a speed, last year, I believe we put a speed trap up there, a sign. We try to deter.
Yeah. Do we have, the right to put those up, or because it's a county?
We have the right to it on a county road.
Okay,
You have to go through the county, get their permission to put breakaways on and everything else.
okay.
I think at the very least, we communicate with police agencies coming from the board, asking for some increased enforcement. We can't force it, but we can request it, and you having you here to explain the detail, we're more than willing to do that. I feel obliged to do that, to be quite honest with you.
Sir, do you happen to have a copy of what you just read? That'd be great. If you wouldn't mind.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to address the board at this time? Seeing none, we'll close privilege of the floor. Under reports and remittances, we've got Resolution 152.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Tom, seconded by Councilman Hinman. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Town audits, Resolution 153.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Tom, seconded by Councilman Hinman. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Just quick correction that under total, after 177 is a comma, not a period. A couple of correspondences, just that we've got the 25th Annual Dennis Pelletier Youth Hall of Fame Award. A number of residents expressing their thoughts on potential second liquor store going into the village, and some training that our finance department went to. Reports from town officers. So this week, in addition to it being a month to celebrate building departments and awareness of safety, this week is actual Professional Municipal Clerks Week. It's the 55th annual, and on behalf of the board, every clerk, not just the elected town clerk, but all of the clerks in the town were presented with a small little token of appreciation. So obviously we thank the clerks for everything that they do. There was a grant that was made available on a Thursday that was due on a Tuesday. And pretty significant congressional grant. This is the community funding or community project funding grant through Congressman Morelli's office. And I just want to really thank specifically Christian and Sue and anybody else that really put the time and effort into making this happen. I think we actually got a really good, I think we got a fair chance. They only award 15 projects, and when we checked, there were 17, and the county threw in 2 last-minute ones, which I couldn't go against, because one of them is for the Gillette Road Bridge, so kind of bidding against ourselves, but at the same time, I think we got a good chance. And we applied for some funding with some of the plans that we have for the Buffalo Road Park. We know that that's part of our comp plan, and this would go a long way to really get that going. We had our National Day of Prayer. Well, it was the National Day of Prayer, but we had a little ceremony here, and was very pleased and happy to have so many people that wanted to participate in that from the community and be a part of that. We are having continuous conversations regarding the splash pad. I think every 2 weeks or so, it seems like we have a conversation about the progress for that, and it's coming along nicely. We made a slight adjustment to decrease the size. I believe it was 4,500 square feet and down to 4,300 square feet. Just trying to be conscientious of space and cost and everything like that. But we'll have renderings pretty soon. It's going to be great for families that have kids. Talk about this a little bit later during the emergency action plan, but several conversations with both our key fob company, which is integrated, and our telephone company, Convergent, on a number of safety and security issues that I think we'll bring up again. But that was kind of a pretty good undertaking, and you'll hear from Mitch later on that, but spent a good number of hours putting together this plan, and we think it's pretty good. The last several years, on either the legislature side or the town side, I've spent trying to secure some funding for the Colby Pulver House, which is the Ogden Historical Society's museum for the town. It oddly enough resides in the town, is on county property, but is managed by the Historical Society. So it's a lot to try to figure out who's responsible for what, but the state, it looks like we successfully advocated for a grant there, and the county, we've been there probably 3 times now for them to assess the structural integrity, and it seems as though we're making pretty good progress for them to really invest in making sure that that is a long-standing icon in the town. I've been working and having lots of conversations with the highway superintendent on a number of projects and how they're going to be able to help out in the parks and in other ways. I'm sure a lot of those will come in front of the board at some point. And it'll just be, really honestly, a tremendous savings to the town to work on some of those projects. We do have a number of items for work session, a number of rezoning requests that will come before the board, and then we'll have a conversation on our town fuel system, potential for a town fuel system. And then very last for me, mentioned that we had some preliminary conversations with some developers to come take a look at our campus, and we had an actual walkthrough with some people from Krista Construction. And we took a very detailed look at this building in every department, and gonna just start the process of seeing what the options are. And sat down, Brian was there, and Sue, and we were just talking through some of the needs that we have, some of the urgent ones and the ones coming down the line. So very productive couple of weeks for sure. That's it. Councilman Baker?
Thanks. Not too much. I had the pleasure of attending the Aurora House fundraiser event on April 26th. A very well-attended event. Lots of community organizations were there, and it was great to see some friends out there too as well. Talking about Chief Gray and the work that his officers are doing and the partnerships that they have, I invited Chief Gray as part of my duties in the fire department with our annual carnival. Every year we hold an incident action plan planning meeting for all of our emergency partners. Chief Gray was invited, and we went over the safety plan for our carnival event. Superintendent Wolf was also there in attendance. OPD, along with Monroe County Sheriff's Office, provides the outside law enforcement details to keep everyone safe. Highway does an integral role in our parade, providing safety with the apparatus that they have and keeping the people in the parade routes safe. So we appreciate their partnership in that. So Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Superintendent Wolf. That's
Very
it.
good. Councilman Gerbino,
Nothing to report.
Councilman Hinman,
As Supervisor Zale alluded to, I too went to the National Day of Prayer last week, and I just wanted to make mention, it was just encouraging to go to an event where a lot of the community just showed up, just people that were just concerned for their community and just wanted to do nothing but pray for and support people in this building and the people that work for them in the town. So it was encouraging, it was a good turnout, and I just wanted to bring light to that, so that's it.
very good. Councilman Toms,
I have no report, thank you.
Highway Superintendent Dan Wolf,
No report.
Town Clerk Noel Burley.
Not much additional to report, actually. Taxes, the final payment was due on April 30th. We do have a couple of stragglers coming through, but should be wrapping that up in the next couple of weeks. And believe it or not, we're already starting school tax collection, so that'll be busy too.
I thought that was like an every other year thing.
Anyways,
No? Okay. Mr. Schummer, Town Attorney.
No report.
Thank you very much. Okay, there's no unfinished business, so we will move to new business. Madam Clerk.
Resolution 154, authorizing the hiring of Joshua Greenman to the part-time, non-competitive position of Assistant Building Inspector in the Town of Ogden Building Department.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Gerbino, seconded by Councilman Hinman. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 155, authorizing the issuance of an annual highway permit to the Monroe County Water Authority and waiving the associated fee for said permits.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Moved by Councilman Baker, seconded by Councilman Toms. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 156, authorizing the hiring of Emma Sodoma as a volunteer intern for the Town of Ogden Police Department, effective May 9th through September 1st, 2024.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Gerbino, seconded by Councilman Hinman. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 157, scheduling a public hearing for local law number 4, 2024, a local law of the Town of Ogden providing for approval of cluster development pursuant to section 278 of the town law.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Tom, seconded by Councilman Gerbino. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 158, authorizing amendments to resolutions related to ARPA projects to reflect actual project expenditures.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Tom, seconded by Councilman Baker. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 159, authorizing the acceptance of a donation from the Auto Club of Western and Central New York Foundation for traffic safety for the purpose of purchasing items needed for the Bike Safety Rodeo in July of 2024.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Hinman, seconded by Councilman Gerbino. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 160, authorizing a budget transfer totaling $6,200 to facilitate payment of unemployment insurance costs.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Baker, seconded by Councilman Hinman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 161, rescinding Resolution 81, 11024, which designated the use of ARPA funds to replace the splash pad located at Pineway Ponds Park.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Tom, seconded by Councilman Gerbino. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn to work session.
I'll second that.